Corinne's my model today, and you see I've got a pretty face in the chair here, and she's got baby fine hair, but still good hair. She's got a lot of natural wave in it, and she's had a little mishap with her hair, and we want to give it some shape without cutting all of her hair off. And the good thing is Corinne's young and she's edgy and she likes newer modern things. So what I want to do on her hair, you can see she's got this very asymmetric shape. She's got a shorter side and a much longer, heavier side. And a lot of this you see in her hair is her natural wave. But what I want to do to Corinne is really give her more of a definitive shape to her hair without cutting a lot of hair off. And you can see where we've got this little chunk of hair missing in here, and all this nice texture. We kind of like this. But what we want to do is take this texture and put it through the rest of her hair. It's just a very lopsided, uneven cut. But what I want to do is, I want to leave her length here. She doesn't want to lose her length. But what I do want to do is layer this so it'll just have more of a definitive shape to it. Because right now it just looks like it's not quite finished. And I want to give it a little bit more of a finishing. And I want to cut it where she can let it air dry and have her own texture and have that wild tousled hair. Or if she smoothed it out, she'd get this really edgy, sleek, asymmetric bob. So what I want to do first, I just want to show you her hair dry and see just really what we're dealing with. I'm going to shampoo her, and you'll come back and you'll get to see me do this haircut. With Corinne, we've got her shampooed, and I've got her parted on that natural fall where her hair falls at. But what I wanted you to look at was this neckline here. And because this was cut so short in here, you can't see with the way I got it combed, but it was just really a big hunk was cut out of here, and then it dropped down just so extreme. What I want to do is keep this hair swinging forward. And I don't want to cut this any shorter, but I want to blend everything else with this shorter hair. So what I'm going to do is check her neckline right here, because there's something hanging down in the middle, and it's not a lot, but it's this little tail piece that's hanging down lower. So I'm going to converge these two little pieces here. The neckline will be brought in, and I can feel this little piece here that just was hanging out. I think when I saw it dry, that hung out lower than the rest because of this curl. So that had to come off. And Corinne, that's the only length I'm taking off, hon. So now I'm going to bring this back and nip just this little ragged stuff, because we're going to keep every bit of the length. All I'm doing right now is kind of establishing her hanging length. Okay, now that's all we're taking off the length. What's going to really make a difference is when I start to layer this hair. And because this crown has been cut so short, this hair actually falls to the back. So this hair would naturally, that is that natural fall. So what I want to do here is pick this up and kind of establish a little guide here. See where this is coming off, Corinne? This will be the guide for all of your layering. So that's going to fall along. I'm going to bring all this hair, every section, back to this piece, so it'll create, as it gets to the front, the layering will be longer, and it'll keep all of her length. And the best thing about this is Corinne's got some fabulous texture and curl in her hair. And with this layering, it'll really bring it out, and her haircut will make more sense. Because right now, it doesn't have a shape to it. It doesn't have a purpose. So now, putting this layering in here in a specific spot will definitely give her hair just a better shape. You see, I'm bringing everything back, so I'm going to run out of hair, which is a good thing. That'll tell me I'm retaining all the length in the front. Pulling that back and taking that off. Lifting up leaves the length on the bottom, so it won't have anything off of her length. I'm taking this section here and bringing this back still. Bringing everything back to that first section I cut in the crown. And this is just little ragged, this is like little ragged ends that just needed to come off. And you can see she's got a lot of hair. Her hair is thick, but it's baby fine. So she's got lots of little skinny hairs, but what a nice head of hair, and what nice curl in the hair. You'll be able to see. What I think I'm going to do is dry her smoother, and then I will show how to finish her hair with a flat iron or one of our curling sticks to give it that real tousled beach waves, kind of enhance her own natural curl. But see, I'm actually kind of bringing back and then going out a little bit, just so she doesn't have too blunt of a hanging length here. Now I'm running out. Corinne, that's good. Let's pull this back and check it this way. You can see I've went from short in the crown to longer in the front. It's not a lot of hair off, but it's off in the right spot, and that makes all the difference in the world. I'm just checking here that I'm going from short to long, and what I like to do too is once I've cut it, then we dry the hair, and I check the cut, and then do a little tweaking and kind of give that haircut a little more shape on her as I see it dry. A lot of times you can't see the shape when the hair's wet. You want to dry it and smooth it out and find any little flaws in it. Now this is the one size that's just hanging way over some short stuff. Now of course we're not cutting into that, we like that, but we do want this to have a little bit more consistency here. So let's take a piece from this previously cut and pull this over. And we'll use that as our guide for this side because very little will come off, and you can see this just has a little ragged edge here that just is not healthy. So taking that off is all that's needed. And Corinne has got, like I said, really good hair, and she's been growing it so she can still continue to let her hair grow. But now it won't look like a grown out cut. It'll have shape to it. Now already in the front here, I'm going to just give that a little more defined edge here because like I said, her hair will curl. I'm not cutting your bangs any shorter, Corinne. I'm just going to use that as a guide to go from there down. Layering in this, like I said, is going to leave her hair so healthy because this is the part of her hair that has just been abused. You know, that top layer kind of protects the rest. It gets a little more heat. You know, it just is not the healthiest part of the hair, that top layer. So this is going to make all the difference. Just blending that. Now what I think I'm going to do, Corinne, is one more thing here just to check that layering. And whenever you part the hair, when you determine that side part, you always want this to be the longer side, just because it has to travel a little further, and it just is more flattering. You don't want this side long and this side short, then it doesn't make as much sense. So it'll go from, this will be your shorter side, and this will be a little bit longer. So you've got to kind of go with the way that it falls. I mean, I've seen bobs before where one side was, the long side was on the wrong side. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back and I'm going to take this little corner off here, just so, and you can see this isn't taking any of her length off, not touching the leaf. If anything, her hair will look a little longer, not shorter, because now it won't lay flat at the top and then thick on the bottom. And it's almost like you have to just kind of ease it off. The worst thing to do is to cut it and then say, oh wow, I wish it was longer, because you can always cut more hair off. So this makes all the difference. I'm going to check it a little bit this way. And like I said, when I dry it, I'll come back and you'll get to see the finished cut. And I've got her finished, and what's nice now is she's got these great tousled, soft, sexy curls. You know, she had this haircut that just didn't make much sense. Now it really has more of a purpose now. When you see this back now, I've just let this hair air dry and brought out her own natural wave and curl, but after layering this side, now it just has more movement and volume, and the curls are just so much better. And I've got her at a point right now, I want to show you the little shorter side, because this side really is just very disconnected, and that's what we wanted on this curly hair. Because with curly hair, if it's cut everything so even, then it tends to look like a blob or like too perfect. When it's jagged and uneven, the curls look better. So then you have light, airy, wispy curls and more movement. Right now what I want to do, after I've got her finished, I'm going to do a little bit of our Max Wax. And that's our pomade that you can put on the hair dry, and it's for definition and shine. And it really plays up and separates the curls. I mean, if I put hairspray on here, just for some hold is good, but I think what makes it look newer is that it's not too big and the curls are piecey and separated, and that makes it look a little more modern. After I put it on my hands, a little film of the Max Wax, then like I just ran it through here just on the top layer and then kind of squeezed a little bit. That way you put that product on the ends and not so much at the scalp. And it depends. Now her hair, she doesn't have coarse heavy hair, so it's a little on the fine side, so you've got to be careful with it. You don't want a lot of product at her scalp because it's her ends that need a little bit more moisture. So that's why I'm blotting this more on these ends to define them, to define those edges. But that's her look for the day, and I enjoyed doing Corinne's hair today. She's beautiful, and thanks for watching.